Hello! Good evening! It is Sunday night. It's me, actually on camera instead of my PNGTuber, and it's time to get some art on. Shout out to Rob and Atomic Love in the chat. I feel like we've been hanging out like every day this week. There's been a lot of Patreon streams. It's cool to see you guys again. It's still actually daylight here. The lighting in here is kind of weird right now. It actually rained today for the first time in like 2 months or something, so it's a bit weird and stormy outside, so I had to close the windows. So if I keel over because it's too warm in here, I'm very sorry. What were we doing? We were working on the TRiP fan art. The fan art that has taken me like 4 years or something to actually get done, and that's, I just remembered last time on Trippy Does Art, my PC was shutting down when I decided to move like a pattern or something, and that's what made me take about 2-3 weeks out to try and fix my PC. It was basically having RAM problems because in order to get the speed that your RAM tells you it can do, you have to like overclock the speed on your RAM. And I didn't realise this entire time that it was causing me problems, and that's what it was. And since then, touch wood, it has been behaving itself. So maybe today we can actually have a stream where my PC doesn't try and eat its own head. It rained in your area too. It's strong rain. I'm glad for you, because it's been a lot recently. I feel like a prune. My brain is shriveled. Right, let's go to art and see where I was at. Absolutely nothing. Let's see. Right, last time I was working on this, I actually made like a duplicate copy of it in case the other one corrupted. I think this is the correct one that I was working on before my PC died. So I'm just going to continue with this one today. Hey, hello Mike! Good to have you here. I think you've not missed much because I've not really been doing a lot of public streams recently. Because of PC problems, not wanting to be a webcam and stuff. I could have whisked out and done a PNGTuber again today, but I thought no, I have a camera, I'm gonna be on camera today, so we're gonna be streaming until 11, or if everything goes to hell, possibly sooner than that, but I'm hoping everything's okay. Right, where were we? I'm gonna do that thing again for 5 minutes, where I just dick around with all the layers to figure out what I was up to. Right, I was drawing this background, wasn't I? I was attempting some form of scenery. Also have to apologise today because my hay fever feels like it's kicking off, and if I start sneezing, I'm really sorry, just turn the speakers down. Aha, okay, I found it. I could have just read the names on my layers, but that'd be too logical. Yeah, the last stream was in 2 parts. It basically this pattern in the background, you can't see it just now. Hang on, I'll show you. Where is it? Not this. The checkerboard pattern. Yeah, this here. Oh, that's right. I got a material on clip. I was trying to use my clippy points before they expired, because they like to do that. And I found this perfect texture for like a pattern for the flooring tiles, and I was like, oh, fantastic. And then I moved it and Clip Studio like froze, and then my PC crashed, so it's in 2 parts, unfortunately. Right. I still have to draw that tree and stuff, but first I think I am gonna do that border. Yeah, all the shading just now is kind of temporary, so don't pay it too much attention. Well, not on Trip. Her shading is kind of done. Well, the layer that I've turned off. I'm gonna have lots of like dusty gold stuff and autumn leaves and things, like gold stuff everywhere. So that's the plan. Where or not that happens is another thing. Right, that's the background. This is the other background. Why is there 2? Let's not question that. Right, let's continue inking the background today then. I still have to do the tree on the left hand side. I forgot to label the layer that I was just working on. Where is it? There, right, I'm gonna... One way to make sure you know, well, I say, one way to make sure you know what you're doing, where you're going, is to make your layers highlighted, use a colour on them. You can't really see underneath the chat, but there's a purple one up there. This little thing here just makes the colour for this part change. And what I tend to do is I have blue for shading, I have yellow for highlights, I have red for important layers like inks and stuff. And if something's really important, I'll have like a lock on it so that I can't accidentally ink on top of my sketch layer or something, you know. Hey Darlo! Hello! Yay, lots of people here today. Thank you for coming along. I'm sorry it's been a while. Right, let's make this more transparent. Let's ink. I still need to get one of those, what is it called? Tourbox or something. It's a little shortcut keypad thing, and it has a dial on it and a bunch of other buttons, and it's like tactile buttons, so you don't have to look at it while you're using it, and you can map it to rotate your canvas. Because the tablet that I have is a Huion 22 Kamvas Pro or something EX, and it doesn't have any buttons on it at all, well, apart from the power button, so I can't map any buttons to the actual side of the tablet to press. So I don't think you can even see it because it's behind my webcam right now, but there's this absolute, you see down here where the horizontal scroll bar is, this thing, it's literally the height of that, and I always have to go to the left hand side and turn it if I want to rotate my canvas. It's really annoying. I had a Huion key dial, and I remember complaining about it on Blue Sky and stuff, where I had it mapped to rotate my canvas and do all these other things, and it would just cause the Bluetooth on my PC to crash everything, so I couldn't use it anymore for that, so that's why I'm still stuck with the same fun. Right. Let's see. I don't really use the pen to ink that much anymore. I actually use like the pencil tool on my comic, so this feels kind of weird. I'm gonna try not be too fussy because most of this is gonna be covered by a tree, you know, but I just want to draw it anyway. Actually, I thought of a better way to ink this. Rather than rotating and rotating, just do all of the top ones and then turn it. Yeah, I don't use the keyboard though. I never use keyboard shortcuts. I think the only time I ever use the keyboard is if I'm playing like Deltarune or something. I think it's because I can't fit my keyboard, like this is my keyboard here. I got like a little wireless keyboard and I really love it. It's by Logitech and it has very cool keys and everything. It's very flat and I love it. And I can kind of like, it's got rubber feet underneath it. I can kind of stick it on top of my tablet and type, but it slides down my tablet and it's nearly fallen on the floor a few times. So my tablet kind of takes up my entire desk in front of me, so I have to keep using the keyboard. I used to like just having on the side of my tablet, my old Wacom used to have 3 buttons and I could just like undo, rotate, swap pen and stuff. But my actual pen tool that I'm using just now, well, my pen even, it has, I don't know if, it's got 2 buttons here. So the bottom one I have mapped to, if I hold it down I can change the size of my pen tool, brush tool, whatever. And the other one is the move things around tool. It'd be kind of useful actually if the pen itself had a ring on it or something, so you could like turn the ring to rotate your canvas. That'd be pretty useful. I don't know. I've heard that the second version of the Huion key dial is better because it's got better Bluetooth support or something. But I have a lot of things attached to the Bluetooth right now, so I'm half convinced that was one of the things that caused my PC to start going weird in the first place. And I've said this before, but I will say it again for anyone who didn't hear the first 5 million times. Wacom, they're great and everything, but their customer service sucks. They are so bad. Wacom is so overpriced. They ended up sending me back like the wrong tablet. They passed me around different help desk people and none of them had read the last person's email for what the problems were, so when my Wacom broke, they ended up just sending me some refurbished version instead of my own tablet. So I still have it and it still works after they sent me someone else's tablet, but that's for emergencies, like if this tablet completely breaks down. This tablet, the Huion, broke down because one of the wires inside it isn't made very well or something. So if you bypass that wire altogether, I basically like took apart my tablet and rewired it inside, and it's never had a problem since. And I saved myself like £1,000 or something in like repairs and tablet replacements and all of that, just because I came across a thread on Reddit where somebody's Huion had died like mine, where it wasn't being recognized as a tablet anymore. It was just being recognized as like a second monitor. So you move your pen and like nothing happens. And this guy just got curious and he's like, I'm going to open up my tablet. It'll void the warranty and everything, but he done it. And he figured out that the inside of it was like so simply made that all you had to do was just like pull out one wire and then solder another wire to it to bypass the thing that breaks, and it just works perfectly now. I had to like put a second hole into the back of my tablet case, which I done with like I think I used a screwdriver or something. And yeah, after that, I mean, I don't know how long this is gonna last now. Apparently they die after about 3 years, Huions, compared to Wacoms, which last about 7-8 years. So you with Wacom, you're paying for how long it's gonna live for, but I would never pay, like, this is a 22-inch Huion, and I paid like £400 for it, but my old Wacom, which still works now, but it's tiny, the 13-inch one, that's been discontinued now, so they're not offering any support for it now, and that was like one of their most popular tablets. So yeah. Point of the conversation, I kind of went off on a tangent there. Point of the conversation is that sometimes it's better to try and repair things than to just think, oh, chuck it in a bin and get a new one, because a lot of companies just do like planned obsolescence. I can't say the word. Obsolescence. So they're made to break down after a certain amount of time. So if you know how to fix them, you can pretty much make them last forever. I mean, I treat this tablet so well, I'm scared that like anything will happen to it. I dust it every morning. When I move it, I always move it very slowly, because every tablet, any like PC tablet anyway, all of them have got really bad power connectors on them, and I think they do it on purpose because they want people to break the socket and have to buy a completely new tablet. Wacom is especially bad with connectors. They're not made to last at all, and I swear it's on purpose. But yeah, I would, for this size of tablet from Wacom, it would probably be about £2,000, like £2,000, £3,000 or something, and I'm not paying that for something that I already have, which is just a different brand. I mean, back in the day, maybe Wacom had like a hold on the market because they were one of the only companies that done like big screen tablets, but now there's so many alternatives. Like XP Pen do really good tablets as well. I think next time, if this one eventually goes, which it will, most stuff does, I think I'll try an XP Pen 22 or 24-inch tablet. But what I actually want is, I want to have a portable tablet. I've entered a competition, well, not a competition, but I've applied for a grant where if I'm successful, I can get a tablet, well, money towards a tablet that I've been looking at, on like second-hand tablet. I wouldn't buy a brand new tablet. It's a Galaxy Tab Note or something, and then I'd be able to like go somewhere else, like sit in the park and work on the comic, you know? It'd be nice. So I'm not always at my desk. It's like, I'd love to be someone who like goes to a cafe and works. Be a little bit more sociable. Get some fresh air. Yeah, I used to buy like Cintiq Wacoms, Wacoms in general, out of habit, because I knew that Wacom were a really good brand, And because all the professionals use them, you think, oh well, I guess I have to get it as well. But it's sort of like Adobe. It's like all the professionals use Adobe, so I should probably use Adobe. You don't have to. That's how they keep a hold on the market, you know? Yeah, Open Tablet Driver, I've got the place bookmarked. It's got like all of the drivers for stuff so you can keep using them, which is pretty cool. You can use like any tablet with this driver. Good evening, Cherry. I can't remember if I said good evening or not, but good evening again. Double good evening. So, Cherry, would you say that the XP pen is better than the Huion? Because I have a lot of people who say the XP pen is better than Huion, but I have no point of reference for that. Oh, you have the Kamvas slate. That's really cool. I'm jealous. I really want to try standalone stuff, but they're expensive. Like, I'm not entirely sure how good they are with files that have a lot of layers. I think that's one of the things that always puts me off getting standalone tablet. Like, I always worry if my PC has problems. A desktop PC struggles sometimes with my layers. Like, is a handheld standalone tablet gonna be alright for me? But I want to try. I would like to have one. My plan as well is if I get this grant, which I probably won't, but I'm dreaming, I'm allowed to dream. If I get it, I could also double it up as a little screen, so I could have my live stream chat on a separate little screen in front of me, so I don't have to have it on my main screen, which should be useful. So it's got like multi-purpose. Yeah, a lot of tablets don't come with the pens, which is such a rip-off, right? I blame Apple for that, because stuff always used to come with the accessories, and now you have to buy it like separately. And tablet pens are expensive. Like, if you have to replace them, they're expensive. Yeah, I was looking at Chromebooks as well. I just done a lot of reading, and everyone's saying, oh, Galaxy Pros, whatever the hell they're called, they're good to draw on, so I don't know. I have no knowledge of this, I'm just going with what people are saying. I wanted to get one as well that's like the generation before they started putting AI stuff. Like, I want a tablet that's old enough to not be ass, you know? I don't want any AI chip or whatever in my tablet, thank you. I think this is another tip as well that I think I've mentioned before, but whatever tablet you get with the pen, well, maybe not like standalone tablets, I'm not sure, but any like big clunky physical tablets that come with a pen like this with a plastic nib, buy yourself a packet of felt nibs and just swap it out, and it's so much easier to draw with a felt nib. I can't draw with the default ones that come in these things. I just realised I've not put my timer on. I do this all the time. Right. Yeah, like the only thing that I regret, well not regret, but the only thing that messed up when I repaired my tablet is, you'll see how I just drew this really thin line and I'm quite zoomed out from my canvas. If I zoom in on it, look at it, it's really wobbly. It's like, ooh, it can't do, because I repaired it, it kind of like messed up the, basically, to try and explain it, tablets have this big sheet inside them that uses sort of like a grid, and it's like kind of magnetic, I think, and your pen has something in it that reacts with this weird big grid inside underneath all the glass and stuff. And if you even slightly mess with it, it can sometimes put it off a little bit, and now I can't really draw really straight lines if it's zoomed out. But, like, especially if I do this and I write something. And then I zoom in again. You see all that? The lines are really, like, weird. It's like it can't figure it out. Yeah, I see that as like a trade-off. I would rather have slightly wibbly lines than not being able to use my tablet at all. I could just use a ruler and be like a normal person, but nah. I'm just gonna keep erasing it. Yeah, the felt tip nibs are quite cheap as well. They're only like, mine's cost like £6 or something. Well, it's like $8. But yeah, Huion do felt nibs, and sometimes like you have to check the serial numbers and stuff on the back of the packets to make sure that they fit the version of the pen that you have. Like sometimes they don't tell you and you find out that it actually does work. But I think the one that I'm using just now isn't for this tablet and it still works in my pen, so... I remember watching this tutorial once where somebody figured out how to make infinite pen nibs for their Wacom. They basically just got a piece of plastic wire and they just cut it into lots of little pieces and then they just shoved it into their pen and they just had like instant plastic nibs. Well, I wouldn't recommend that. I've tried with Wacom, I got like a selection pack where I could try all the different types of Wacom nibs. It was the felt one, there was the default one, it's a different colour for some reason, and there was a spring based one which had, it was like a normal nib when you pull it out, but in the middle of it was a little spring, like a really small spring, and it basically makes your pen feel more like a paintbrush because it's springy, so there's some give in it. So I put that into the pen, and it was good and everything. Not so much for inking, more for colouring, but when I tried to remove it, the actual spring got stuck inside the pen. I had to use like surgical tweezers to try and get it out of the pen, so you have to be careful with spring nibs. I learned that. I mean, I lean quite heavy when I'm inking, especially. Yeah, I mean, felt nibs do wear out because they're soft, but I think it also depends on what your setting is for your pressure on your tablet. I keep reading that you should make it more forgiving rather than have to press down really hard. Apparently it saves your wrist and stuff, but I think I've just left mine on default. I don't think I've changed the sensitivity of my tablet. Yeah, that's right, the wire for weed whackers, it's like really thin wired. It was like the perfect width for the end of the pen. I love stuff like that. I like it when people just like figure out how to fix things or do things themselves. I also watched this YouTube video ages ago where somebody made their own tablet. They figured out the technology behind it and they just decided to make their own one. And it didn't look very fancy, but it was basically able to control the stylus on the screen, and they were able to actually like DIY an entire tablet. It was pretty impressive. See, it's easier to duplicate stuff than it is to redraw everything again and again and again. think I still have like my second tablet that I ever owned somewhere. So I was supposed to send it to somebody actually, because I believe in if you get new technology and it's just your old version is just sitting there and it's still in working order, then give it to one of your friends or someone who needs it, you know? And I think I was in the middle of moving house at the time and I think it's still in storage. I'm not sure, but it was a Wacom bamboo phone. I remember we had this, what do they call it? An amnesty or something? Where everybody just like hands in their stuff. And we done like a big community swap. A bunch of artists just came onto my Twitter page years ago and they were like, I have an old Wacom, an old Cintiq or whatever, if anyone can use it, hit me up and we'll swap details. And it was such a nice thing. It was just like, oh, because then you know it's going to someone who's actually going to use it, who might not be able to afford it, you know. And let's be honest here, when you sell old technology, you never get anywhere near the price you paid for it anyway. So if you can give it to somebody and you know it's going to a good home, then yeah. Like when this eventually gets replaced, like I would have no problem sending it to someone, but the postage cost would be insane because it's really heavy. It's like the size of an old TV. And plus the fact that I like repaired it myself, I don't want anything to happen. I don't know how electronically sound it is. I don't think I'd want to be responsible for anybody getting an electric shock or something. I don't know. It might have been Project, actually. I can't remember. All I remember was the person who done the YouTube video was like really good at coding and stuff. They were like really interesting to watch, and they had like all these machines and stuff to test for electrical currents, and they were really cool. I think I might have put in my favorites or something. I'll try and find it again. Yeah, I'm actually gonna merge all of these layers when I'm done with them, because there's so many layers now. Oh, you know what? CEX, I really liked the idea of them, and I usually walk past the window of like the local one and stuff, and I'm like, oh, they're selling like retro games and old technology and stuff. That's really cool, but it's never really that cheap. It's actually quite expensive when you're buying it secondhand from there. And one time, when my last headphones broke, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna pay insane amount of money. I'm gonna get some secondhand like headphones like these ones, yeah. But I wanted to get a pair of I think they were Skull Crusher ones like I had already, or maybe they were like Beats or something. I can't remember, but they were orange, and that was the main reason I wanted them. There were these really cool looking orange headphones, and they were only like £30. Originally they were like 100 something, and they were selling them for 30 quid on the website. So I was like, okay, there's a grading thing where they tell you if it's like A grade, B grade, C grade. They try to explain if there's anything wrong with it or whatever, if it's defective. And on the website, it's like all of the items are in really good condition, they're all clean, they're given a bit of a once over before they're sent to you, yeah? And I got my headphones. I swear to God, right? It was the most disgusting experience of my life. I opened this box and it was full of hair and dirt and dust, and you know when plastic goes sticky because it's old? It was like that, and they weren't even the same headphones either. They were red. They were a completely different brand. They were covered in like pet hair and dirt, and it was, yeah, you remember, it was so disgusting, right? And I'm not a Karen, right? I don't like causing a fuss. I don't like sending things back and moaning about stuff, but I actually complained and I got my money back eventually, but I would never buy from their website again. I would have to actually go into the shop and see what I'm buying. But I know that they get a lot of stolen stuff as well. They just resell it. Like all the mobile phones either get shipped off or they go to a CEX for somebody to buy them and then get accused of stealing them. So yeah, I was going to get my tablet from there actually, but I would not now. Because I do like the idea of secondhand stuff. Like I said, I like things not ending up in landfill when it can be avoided. Should probably zoom out. I've actually I have no idea if this looks good or not. Yeah, actually that's not bad. That's looking pretty jazzy. I'll do one more. I don't know if there's a quicker way to do this. There probably is. Like I could probably like select multiple layers and then merge them, but I'm scared. After last time, I'm scared to mess up my program. I'm gonna save. I'm actually supposed to be on a break right now, but I want to fix this first. Right, layer, merge with layer below. Since these are all on separate layers right now. I mean, I could just put them into a folder, but I never really do that. Right, so I've got the original one left. Right. I'm not gonna paste all of those over there as well. I think that'd be overdoing it. I'm just gonna hand drop those ones. Okay, so I'm gonna name this layer. Wow, look at me, character progress. I'll call it Rail. I know it's not Rail, but I'll remember it. Alright, I'm gonna have a 5-minute break. Let's go big mode. Let's catch up on chat. My one memory, actually, it might not have been CEX, I think it was like Cash Converter or something back in the day, was my brother wanted to make some money and clear some space in his room, so we were kids at that time. I think he was probably like 15 or something, and I was still a teenager, but we went to this shop and he wanted to sell his NES, not SNES, but his NES with like all the games he had for it, and he had quite a lot. And the guy behind the counter offered him like £15 or something for the entire thing. And we were like, what? We went straight out of the shop like, no thank you. And now, that would probably be worth like a hell of a lot more than that for people who actually collect like proper retro games. I still feel kind of weird when people talk about retro games being like Xbox. Like, the original Xbox now is considered like ancient, which is so strange to me. Like, wow. I think for me, anything past the PlayStation 1 is retro. And anything after that is brand new. Mostly because I didn't make an effort to like collect everything since then. Like, there was, when I was a kid, I used to be like really have to own this, have to get this, and I think as well since I started doing PC gaming, I just don't really bother with consoles anymore, which is a shame. But I kind of feel like everything, unfortunately, is going digital, and there's not much point of buying a console if you're not owning the games for it, you know? Just get it on Steam. Which is technically the same thing because it's digital as well, but at least you don't have to shell out for like 50 different consoles. Now, I sometimes wonder what it would have been like if Sega had kept making consoles. Like, where would they be right now? They probably would have went digital first, to be honest. I think like Sony going full digital is rubbish, you know. It's like, you will own nothing and like it. Everybody should be able to own physical copies of their games. Yeah, I mean, there are Sony consoles in this house, but I don't think I personally own any of them. They were kind of given to us, like people upgraded, so they wanted to pass down their old ones. But yeah, what was the last console, kind of, sort of, but not really, was I bought a Steam Deck when it came out, but that's a handheld, that's not a console, but that's useful. Hey Ben, hello. Good to have you here. We're just complaining about CEX and electronics that like to break down and have to be replaced constantly. Yeah, I mean, I think my brother bought his PlayStation 1, and at the time when I was a kid, I didn't want to play it because I had a Saturn, and I was like, no, whatever, I don't care about Sony, I don't want a PlayStation. And then I ended up getting really into Music 2000 on the PlayStation, and that's when I started doing really bad music for the Nights into Dreams fandom. Which I can't say I regret, but it just makes me cringe quite a lot now when I listen back to it. But it was good for its time. Yeah, the good thing about the PlayStation 1 is because it was so popular, there was such a huge range of games on it. There was like something for everyone. And they were really cheap as well. Hello Super Thunderblade, good to see you again. Yeah, I done a test stream a couple of days ago. And I said, this is a test stream, please ignore it. Don't come in here because there is nothing to see. And of course, people came to see what was going on and it was just really bad scribbles. Yeah, DRM is evil as well. I hate DRM. I am very against DRM. Like, what is it? De Novo is evil. I hate that stuff. It's so stupid. Like, people are still gonna find a way to pirate games and stuff, you know? Putting that extra layer for regular people who aren't gonna do that is just like putting malware onto people's computers. It's so crap. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was like Phantasy Star Universe or something. Not PSG, sorry. It was PSO2, I think, used de novo, and on my old PC, it used to just shut it down constantly. It was so irritating. Hello DP! Hello! I'm actually here. It's not my little cartoony self. I decided to stop being so antisocial and actually do some talking on camera to prove that I actually am alive. I'm not just like an AI video of myself. Not that I would ever. What have you all been up to? Probably more than me. I've just been getting stressed about learning Japanese and slowly going out of my mind as I realise I'm not actually that great at learning in general, but I am not going to say bad, mean things about myself on camera, so all you need to know is that the difficulty has spiked in Japanese lessons. I'm on level 2 now, course 2, as in I think I'm on like 12 lessons or something now. But yeah, I'm enjoying learning how to. I mean, I know how to write Japanese anyway, but my handwriting has been improving, and I keep getting compliments of the teacher, so that's good. I just wish that I could remember sentences, even in English. I have a problem reading scripts, like memorizing scripts, like. I don't know if you remember years ago, I worked on a comic called Far From Faith, and we were doing a Kickstarter for it, and my friend needed to record like a promotional video, and he wrote this really cool script, and he gave it to me, and he says, right, remember it, that I'm gonna press record, and you're gonna say this script back to me. And I couldn't do it. Like, I cannot remember anything that's more than like a sentence long, 2 sentences long. My brain just remembers one part, and then the other part at the beginning falls out of my brain. It's so weird. And it's kind of like the when I'm learning a language, it's like I have to remember it in English first, and then by the time I remember that part, the Japanese part is just gone in my brain, and it's like I have to read on paper. So yeah, I've been having a time, but I'm just trying to stick with it anyway. Right now, well, last lesson we were learning how to ask where somebody is going and how they're getting there, like on a train, on a bike, if they're walking or whatever, and it just got very complicated in terms of grammar, and yeah. Uh-oh, has Rob been blocked from saying something truly offensive? Let's see. No, there are no messages being held in chat. That's very odd. Yeah, I don't know why, but YouTube just likes to not post stuff sometimes. Let me check it's working. The lag. So much lag. Oh, okay. So sorry, Rob. Something you said just got like lost in the void. The YouTube void somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I am trying to look at it that way. One day, one day eventually, in the far future, when I actually get a chance to go on holiday and can afford to go to Japan, it would be nice to be able to like feel like I can appreciate it more, because I don't just have to speak English, which is good. And I feel like people always care if you make an effort to learn a bit of the language, you know. I don't think it's good to go to places and just speak English all the time. I think it's kind of rude, so it's good to make a bit of an effort. Even if it's just like reading one phrase book or something, it's still better than nothing, you know? Yeah. My, the teacher that I've got just now, she's so fun. She's like, so like hyperactive and just really funny to watch. I swear this woman should be a comedian. She's brilliant. But I think like my class this time is massive compared to my last class. My last class was just 3 people, and this one is like 14 or 12 or something, so it's kind of difficult for me. So I'm learning a lot of stuff about my brain, like what I can and can't do, or what I'm not so good at. One of them is I seem to be able to learn better when I'm in a quieter situation where I can write down things slowly. But the way I'm trying to say it is, real life isn't like that, is it? Like if I go to Japan one day, I'm not going to have a chance to write things down and do things slowly. It's good to be put on the spot and to be made uncomfortable, I think, to get out of your comfort zone. And yeah, it feels hellishly embarrassing when I'm sitting there and the teacher might point at me and say, make a sentence, and my brain goes completely blank and I have to apologise because I can't think of what to say. But that's life, and it's not going to kill me, and I'm going to get over it, and when I finish this level I'll be glad that I done it. So I do think that I'll be taking the next chunk out, so I can take a month, because I want to learn level 1 and level 2 in my own time again, so I can go into level 3 remembering it, because I feel like level 1 I've kind of like forgotten a bunch of basic stuff which I really need to do level 3. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Lots of homework. I keep forgetting, I've been to Amsterdam. I was actually like amazed when I went to Amsterdam how much was in English. Like, it's kind of weird. It just makes you realize like how much English is just everywhere, and it must kind of suck for the people who like live there who don't speak English, like being forced to learn the language, you know?
Who hasn't played at least some video game.
It's really warm in here. Anyway, I'm yapping. I'm supposed to be working. Sorry, that was my complaint session. I got to vent. I feel better now. Okay, let's get back to work. Timer is back on. I think, like, going back to education, it really makes you appreciate that when you're a kid, you really, like, your brain absorbs a lot. You have to learn so much. Like, school, you have to learn all these different subjects, not just one thing, like, not just learning a language. Learning maths and science, and it's difficult. Kids are super intelligent. I'm trying to figure out if that's... Oh, right, yeah. I was wondering why that was a different colour. Right, I need to tidy this up.
The largest creator of video games is known to you in one simple four-letter word. Sega. Sega.
Yeah, all of these inks are going to look a lot softer and stuff in the background when I finish them. So what you do is you change the line colour so it's not black anymore and it looks softer. And I have a habit now of adding slight blurs to my background. So the further something is in the distance, the blurrier it is, and it really helps like pull apart a scene into like foreground, middle ground, and the distance. And there's also this rule as well that I never really paid attention to originally, but let me show you. I mean, this might be obvious to some of you already, but you can't draw with the eraser. So you've got a person in the foreground. And let's see. Buildings, and then the very far distance there's like
The most famous character
trees.
in video gamedom
Even though it looks like clouds. Let's pretend that's trees, okay?
is known to you in one simple
Like
five-letter
there's
word.
mountains, okay. Right, basically
Sonic is the company mascot. Sonic is
anything in the
company
foreground,
mascot. Sonic is the company mascot, basically. Sonic is was sort of created by the chairman of the company, recognizing that it would be a good thing if Sega could have a real
see this amazing
recognizable
artwork?
mascot.
Wow.
Something that
Right.
everyone in the world could associate with the name Sega.
Right, I don't know a lot about colour theory, but I know this. In the foreground, that's where you see colours the most vibrant. Yeah, it's very stunning. Basically, anything that's in front of you, you're supposed to perceive the colours to be more neon, more bright. And then in the background, like okay, I guess, let's say the buildings are going to be a teal colour. That didn't work. No, my amazing trees have gone blue. No, right. Anybody tuning in right now to this stream would be like, what is going on? Yeah. So what you're supposed to do... Actually, look. I'll finish colouring this. Like, let's say, just as standard, it's the green and the hills are this colour. And the sky is blue with white clouds. So what you're supposed to do is the very foreground stays, you know, stays bright. And then the next layer, you bring down its saturation a little bit. And you make it a little bit brighter. So because the further away something is from you, the more the light kind of washes it out, unless it's nighttime. So the trees would be even more desaturated. And they would be even paler. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game and there's the draw distance, like things get further away so they get blurrier and faded out and stuff. And then the very far background would be like the most desaturated and the brightest. And what I do these days is I blur it. So it makes the foreground stand out more. And the further something is away, the blurrier it gets. I always use Gaussian blur. Let's just pretend my colouring doesn't suck. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Like, how I do my colouring now is I always make the thing in the foreground the brightest, and the further back you get, it gets more desaturated and more blurry, so you get less detail the further back you go. But I still have this, like, problem actually with my art, comic work specifically, where I tend to over detail things even in the background. Like, I'm doing it right now on this picture, to be honest, so it can take away from the focal point of a piece of art. So you have to really pick what parts of your art you want to highlight the most and direct the attention to that, because if you clutter everything with too many highlights, especially shadows not so much, but if you put a lot of different light sources and stuff on your art, it gets really distracting to see what the actual point of it is. So I have to try and like wind it in a little bit. There again, it depends on the art, what it is you're trying to draw, really. Yeah, and with, well, in my own comic anyway, with my art, if it's a dark scene, the things in the foreground are lighter than the things in the background, so you reverse it. so the further away something is, it's darker than the foreground. Like, a lot of artists who are way better than me talk about levels and curves and stuff, and I don't really understand that. I know that your is it levels? Basically, it's like when something in the foreground is dark and then the midground is grey and stuff, and it breaks the image into layers so you can see the image clearer. Like your overall image. But I don't really fuss with that too much. I probably should. Right, it may not look like it right now, but this isn't... This loop here actually goes diagonally, so this part over here will be a lot blurrier. So I'm not so worried about this side being really cluttered. But I will put that on a different layer so I can blur it later on. Yeah, one of the unfun parts of art is when you know you have to do a repetitive thing over and over and over again. I will name this other side. I avoid trying to do backgrounds these days, to be honest. I know that people are like, oh, you're trippy, your backgrounds look nice, and I'm like, no. They're always a pain for me. I know that I can make them look okay, but I always feel like I take too many shortcuts. I feel like I really like, there's some pages of my comic that have really nice backgrounds that I probably could have done better if I'd spent more time on it, but nobody has like a decade to work on one panel of a comic. I'm just catching up on chat. Good night, Super Thunderblade. Thank you for coming along. It was good to see you again. I kind of feel that when you do traditional art and you're doing backgrounds, it's easier because you can't zoom in, but the second that you have to do digital backgrounds, it feels like you have to really put lots of detail in there that nobody's gonna see, because when you're drawing on paper, it limits you, so you have to use what you can visually, and a lot of my old, like really old fan art and stuff, the backgrounds aren't as detailed as like you would think. It's just that I use the pens to shade in a certain way or whatever, and it looks like there's more detail than there is. Though, one example of insane background I do I do recognise I done was for the pilot issue of Engelbaum, the one where it had all the the gens, and the Engelbaum tree is like on fire and stuff. I think that was like every single character in that is an actual I think like fan gens are in there, official gens are in there. At least I think there was fan gens in there. I can't remember if I put fan gens in there. But yeah, that was I drew that on 2 pieces of A4 paper stuck together, and I was using a magnifying glass to ink all the little people, and I was inking them with a dip pen as well. That's how hardcore it was. I wasn't using a fine liner. I went through a phase where I'm like, I'm going to draw comics with traditional art materials to make it look more like a manga, you know, and it's like, man, just ink with a normal pen if it makes it easier, you know. I remember one time I was inking and this huge blob of ink just landed right in the middle of a part that I couldn't really erase, and I was so angry. It's like sometimes it doesn't pay to be a smartass. I've still got all of my traditional nibs and stuff. I'm not using them for ages. I think all of my ink's dried up, to be honest. I used to get what are they called? Deleter ink. And they would do really good white ink that was really useful for doing lines, fine lines in hair and stuff, and you could also use Deleter inks for inking on acetate, so you could do like cell painting. And I didn't have any real cell paper, like animation cell, so I used to just buy overhead projector transparency sheets. And I used to try to paint on the other side of them, but the problem was they're not made for water soluble paints, so all the paint would come out like really lumpy. And I don't know if you remember, but when I first joined the Knights fandom, I done all of these like traditionally painted cell artworks, like anime style cells, and those were literally just cut up bits of plastic with like 30 layers of paint on the back because I was trying to get it to stick. And because I didn't know any better, I used blue tack and I stuck all of them like little squares that had people's faces. I stuck them to the wall in my old bedroom, and they were in the sunlight for maybe like 4 years. And when I left Edinburgh to come here, I went to peel them off the wall and all of the paint just cracked and fell off them, and I was just like, no! So yeah, don't do that. Don't hang cells with nothing behind them on a wall. You'll regret it. That's the thing though, is that I enjoy drawing traditionally. There's something very satisfying about it. Like, you feel a little bit like, you know, like your art ancestors is like, oh, you're connecting to the human condition or something when you're drawing on paper. It just feels very like primitive and good. And I need to do it more, to be honest. I think the last traditional art I'd done was the Medea watercolour, and Ed bought it. And when I was painting it, I was like, oh, you know what, this is actually really fun. I should do this more often, and of course I didn't. But I do want to get back to doing more. I'd like to do lots of new artwork of the characters and stuff. Yeah, I need to zoom out. This might be really pass. Oh, okay, it doesn't look terrible. Yeah, my lines don't look really bad when you zoom out, but when you zoom in, they look awful. Yeah, I used to try that as well. I would just try any type of paint and mix it together and see if it would stick better to the paper. And I remember when I was a little kid and I first learned that animators would draw and paint on see-through plastic. I thought what they would do is they would like paint on the same side that they ink, so I used to try and ink over the top of the paint and I was like, why is this not working? Why does this not look flat and nice? But when you figure out that the paint goes on the back and the inks go on the front, it's really cool. But then I also learned years later that a lot of them don't even ink on the other side. They use a printer and they stick the acetate through the printer and it prints the ink onto it using a special chemical stuff. It's not actually somebody inking each cell with a black pen. So yeah. I kind of missed that though. There was something exciting about experimenting with different art materials when you're younger. You're trying to like figure it out. Especially when you don't like have access to all the materials either. You just sort of like make do with what you have, and sometimes because of that you find workarounds. I remember for years, back when I first started putting artwork of the gens on my Knight's website and stuff, all those artworks were inked using a normal biro pen. It was just like a Bic biro pen, and I would draw on printer paper. I didn't have Bristol board or fancy inking pens or none of that. I used to just use what I had. And I kind of miss those days of like just having to make do with what you've got. So it always bugs me when people claim that you need like you can't do art unless you're rich. You know, it's like you need the best art materials and stuff. You don't. Like the only time that it's not going to be good is if you do art for someone, like a painting or like less painting, but if you do like a marker pen drawing for someone with inks and you're colouring it in with pen and you give it to someone and then they hang it on their wall and then maybe like a year later it's gone invisible because the pens have faded, because different types of pen ink react differently to the sunlight. And the brighter a colour it is, depending on how expensive it is, the pigment is cheaper, so it fades really fast. For instance, if you get highlighter pens and you have like post-it notes or whatever, and then you leave the highlighter writing like fluorescent yellow or whatever, and you like pin it to your pin board, within like 3 months the colour won't be there anymore. And some paints are like that as well, so you have to be careful. Like if you're gonna charge a lot of money for a commission and it's traditional, you have to make sure that the materials you're using won't like evaporate in the space of like a year, and then the person's looking at the art and it's just like invisible ink style. Right, there's probably a bunch of art I'd done as a kid. Like I used to get commissioned when I was a kid. I think my first commission I done was when I was like 11 years old or something. And I think I drew that with just felt tip pens, so that person's art is not there anymore. I guess that's like a traditional artist version of planned I can't say this word, obsoletance. There's like digital version, that's a traditional version if you use crappy pens and then your art disappears after 10 years. And you didn't like your art anyway, so it's kind of doing you a favour. I used to have that happen to me quite a bit. When I was younger, I would get people coming up to me who commissioned me like 9 years ago or something, and they're like, oh, look at this art you've done for me once, and it's so bad. And I'm like, oh my god, why do you still have this? Please burn it. Like something I noticed when I was a kid, and obviously I grew up drawing Sonic characters, so I would draw so many like fan characters and stuff, yeah, and you know, Sonic characters don't have necks, right? But then Nights into Dreams came out, and suddenly I was having to draw like different body types, which included humans because of the Dreamers, and the very first art, like anime style art that I done, everyone had really like fat necks that went from like their ears like straight down. Their necks were like this because I hadn't figured out body proportions yet, and I've noticed it's a thing with Sonic fan artists. They do the same thing. Like kids, if they've grown up drawing Sonic, it gets really difficult to figure out how to draw humans. Yeah, everyone's got mega necks. But there was this piece of Nights fan art that I drew when I was a teenager, and at the time I thought it was brilliant. It's so ugly. It's like, I think I've seen it once in maybe like 17 years, and every so often I'll find it again and I'll be like, oh god, what is this? Because back then I didn't understand how paints, like acrylic paints, work very well, so let's say I was painting skin. Instead of painting the skin the colour I see it, what I would do was I would paint it like my usual skin colour, like peachy colour, and then if there was yellow lighting in the scene, I would then put yellow paint on top of the paint that I just put down, so then the colours would get really weird. Instead I should have like mixed the colours properly and stuff, but I used to just layer paints on top of each other. I don't think I've ever uploaded it. It was that bad. And then it was a picture of me sitting at my PC, and Nights is like standing behind doing some sort of like woo, like hand gesture, and Nights is like really short for some reason. It looks really strange, and I've got the freakiest like face going on. It's like I look like I'm in pain because I hadn't figured out how to draw like anime style at that point. I just had like it was like I was trying to, you know how all the like, well, first levels have got like the star trails coming from their hands. I hadn't figured out how to do sparkles yet, so I just done these big like giant spider looking stars with just like white Tipex. It was like so basic, but it was really funny. If I happen across it again one day, I will scan it for the lols. Not that I think anybody else should set eyes on it, but it's just like, it's my roots, it's where I came from. Really ugly, ugly roots. It's kind of fun though, because you can look back at it and be like, oh well, I guess I improved. But then it also makes you think, oh, I think my art is passable right now. Does that mean in 20 years time I'm going to look back at this and also be like, oh god, this is so bad. It's one of those things where you're never really super satisfied with your art. I think for me, when I'm drawing something, I don't mean just like a character portrait. I mean, if I'm trying to draw like a scene, the thing that always concerns me more is, am I getting the emotion across? Am I getting the point of the picture across? That's more important than like making it look perfect. Because sometimes you can overbake something and then you lose the actual focal point of it. But it's hard to know when a picture's done sometimes. Like, I've messed up a lot of pieces of art where I've just not known when to stop, you know? But sometimes simpler is better. Like, another thing that I used to do when I was a baby artist, when I was learning how to do things, I would get white paint and a toothbrush, and I would do that thing where you get a ruler and you dip the toothbrush into white paint, and then you get the ruler and you like scrape it across the toothbrush and all the white bits fly everywhere. And that's how I used to do like star sparkles and stuff. And for a while that was on everything. It was like, even if a scene didn't have stars or need sparkles, I would just spray toothbrush paint on everything. And all my stuff in my room back then was just like covered in bits of white paint. I know these shapes are a little bit rough, but I don't want to spend like the next 5 years on it. It doesn't need to be perfect, because these are going to get blurred anyway. Actually, coming to think about it, these are all going to be blurry. Nobody's going to see if that line is joining to the next line. Yeah, that's true. Very true. It's like, the better you become, the more you see your mistakes. So it's this never-ending cycle. Yeah, it's why I actually, in Engelbaum, use the term cycles for all the art periods that the creators make, it's like you start off at a certain level, you really enjoy it, and you like when you're a kid or you're a beginner artist, you're starting out and it's frustrating, but you're really into what you're making because it's exciting and you can show people what's in your head, you know. That's like amazing, it's like magic, right? And then after a few cycles you start to see other artists and you want to draw like them, and then you start seeing artists who are better than you that you wish you could draw like, and then you start to get down on your own art, and then you start seeing all the mistakes in your art, but then you compare to your first picture and you realize how much you've improved. But it's a very gradual thing, and it usually takes like, I think they say something like there's 10,000 or 1,000 bad drawings in every person, and you need to get them out of your system before you can look at your art and say you enjoy it. But I don't know. I keep a lot of my art from when I was a kid, so I'm lucky to still have a lot of it. I used to draw a lot of mermaids when I was a really little kid. I had an obsession with mermaids. I'm not gonna have a break just yet. Since it's like 15 minutes till the end of the stream, what I'm gonna do is I'll chat for a bit before 11, rather than have a break and then end the stream. It'd be pointless. I'm sorry we haven't really been doing much work on TRiP. It's been drawing backgrounds today. If I keep avoiding doing the backgrounds, I'm never going to finish the picture, so it has to be done. So yeah, I know that I mentioned this on Blue Sky and Reddit and stuff, but for the past 2 days I have been uploading my chapter 3 draft pages to a little side site that I made on Comic Fury. So if you didn't read that, basically I feel bad that my main pages, like the big fancy pages, are taking me a really long time because they're a lot of work. So I'm putting the rough drafts onto the comic site, and there's links to it on my actual website itself. Where is it? Let me find the thing. Yeah, the link's on my actual comic page. If you're interested to know what happens in chapter 3 up until the end of chapter 3, I think I've been posting bits of them for the past like 2 years or something on social media, but it's not any. I don't like trying to read comics on social media. I like having a website where I can scroll or flick through them or save my space, because you're not gonna like sit and read an entire comic in one go. So yeah, I've just uploaded that for everyone. I'm gonna be uploading like 5 or 10 pages a day. And like I said, it's rough and it's a draft, but sometimes people tell me that they really like my scribbly stuff because it's fun and it's easier to concentrate on the story rather than just be like, ooh, look at shiny art. So if you're interested in Engelbaum's story, then by all means check out the draft pages. But keep in mind that I sometimes change dialogue on pages, or I add extra pages, so be sure to still check out the actual main website for the actual comic, not just my draft pages. I wish I could animate it. So I imagine everything animated as well, and I'm like, oh, you know what, if I could animate, I'd be so happy. Feniku and Tagami done some like really amazing little animation things for me this year, and I need to make a section on the website for them, because I don't want them to get lost in all the other fan art, because they actually move, they're not just like images, so I need to do that. I always know exactly what my characters would sound like as well. It's like it would be really easy for me to pick people, because I know I have like such a clear image in my head of what all the characters sound like. I'm not, as a person, I'm not like super up to speed with voice actors, who voices who and all of that. I know like a couple, but they wouldn't be anything to do with my stuff, but yeah. It's quite funny though, because over time my idea of what my characters would sound like has changed. Like, at one point some of them had very different accents in my head and stuff, and I'm always like, oh, thank God I didn't completely canonize that. Did I draw 2 somewhere? No, I didn't. Oh, no. I was supposed to.
£10 from someone.
Someone? Thank you very much, someone. You brought out the dancing cats. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. I should actually like set it so that people can actually have their messages read out whenever I get a coffee. I can do that. It's got like the text-to-speech thing, but I'm kind of worried because A, I don't trust PayPal because PayPal are like psychotic when it comes to people swearing and stuff or saying dodgy stuff. It can like shut down their account and my account. I don't really want to do that to anybody. Also worry as well people will just be rude on purpose. Not you guys, but I have people out there who are a bit weird, so what I do is I check my phone. Hang on 1 second. And see if there is a message. Nope. And that's fine. That's alright. I appreciate it all the same. Yeah, yesterday, or was it the day before? The day before we were testing chatbot commands in chat, because Lumia Stream, the thing that I use now instead of Stream Elements, it has a chatbot where you can do tournaments and raffles and stuff apparently. I don't know how to do it yet, but I'm gonna find out and then we can play random fun games in chat. But yeah, if you are a streamer and you're looking for a really good software to use to do your streaming, and you're stuck with Stream Elements or Streamlabs, I highly recommend Lumia Stream. It is so good, and the free version is good. The version I'm using is free, and it's got so much more than Stream Elements had. The UI is gorgeous as well, and it's so easy to make little pop-up alerts and stuff. Hello, Cinder! It was you who gave me the... I can tell. Thank you. Yeah, Ko-fi, you know what, right? I actually jumped on Ko-fi back when it first started, and me and one of my friends were joking and complaining that you could only give coffees, and because of us talking about it, they changed it so that you could make it anything. So you could give people like a cup of tea or a beer or whatever instead of a coffee. And something else as well, I could say that actually was randomly because of me with coffee, was somebody was trolling me and they were sending me money but putting offensive messages in it because I blocked them like elsewhere. They thought, I'm gonna I'm gonna send this person money to insult them, and I'm like, okay, fine, you can do that if you want. But at the time there was no option to block people because, believe it or not, you can't block someone from sending you PayPal money. It's so weird. Like, you would think, right, that PayPal would, well, maybe they do now, but back then they didn't have it. So Ko-fi made this thing for me where they actually allowed me to like delete their messages and stuff and block them. And since then they've like implemented it for other people, which is pretty cool. So those lovely little interactions helped other people. So it was a silver lining. You know, it's like the internet, I try not to take it too seriously. Okay, I do believe this part here is inked now. I just realised I've still not even drawn the tree and everything on the left hand side. My god, that's gonna be the next stream. See, this is a habit I've got from doing traditional art. I just inked over my pencils, right? And I could just turn the layer off and delete the layer, but there is something so satisfying about erasing your pencil lines and getting the ink layers left on top. Yay! Cool. Okay, so if we stack all of those layers again, apart from that one because it like covers up everything. Yeah, this is gonna be where the tree is gonna be on the left hand side. I'm looking forward to doing this layer for real because I like my glowy shiny layers and I like this layer as well. It's nice. I don't think I'm gonna use this layer. I kind of like how dark the foreground is already. I don't know what is this layer? Something that we don't know what it is, so it can stay turned off. Okay, so that's me done that work for today. Next stream, we will be doing all this stuff. Trees and stuff. Let's go to chat mode. Back to big mode where I feel and look absolutely wrecked. I actually feel like I've been streaming for like 2 hours or something, or 3 hours, but it's only been an hour? I started streaming at 9. Hang on, I can't tell the time. I've been streaming for 1 hour or 2 hours. Who even knows? And I'm supposed to learn how to tell the time in Japanese. I can't even tell the time in English, you know what I'm saying? Alright, thank you for coming along. It's really cool to see you all again, especially since I keep having random PC problems and stuff, but you know what? Nothing, touch wood, nothing went wrong with the stream. So I'm hoping that I've properly fixed the RAM problems now, and maybe tomorrow I'll try and do a gaming stream test. Like, I'm not going to schedule anything, I'm just going to try run a bunch of games and see if they can crash my PC, and then I can actually plan that again. Because I don't want to make a big massive deal about doing gaming streams if my PC can't do it, you know. there's like no point. And the No Man's Sky one was really embarrassing, so let's not talk about that. I actually like hid those ones. They're still there for when I want to feel humiliated on some occasions. I can just rewatch my PC breaking. Anyway, it's been a really nice evening, and tomorrow's Monday, isn't it? So yeah, I'm gonna put up my schedule tomorrow and I'll let you all know what I'm doing. Thank you for coming along, and I hope you've either learned something, God knows what, or you've enjoyed yourself. Thank you and good night. Bye!